I am the monster. I will destroy you.
Hello, my fellow Flatweilers. Woof to you. Get it? See, Rottweiler's a dog and then flat. Anyway, when my wife and I first got married, you know, times were tough. We used to live next door to an animal shelter. Didn't make a lot of money back then, so, you know, when my wife served hot dogs, it was the real deal. Pass me the Bichon mustard. Honey, what's for dinner? Oh no, not Rottweiler helper again. Poodle noodle casserole, German shepherd's pie, Shih Tzu on a shingle. Nothing better for Sunday breakfast than beagles and lox. You know, or beagles and cream cheese. My wife and I have different tastes. She likes the cinnamon raisin beagles. I like the Asiago cheese beagle. For vegetables, we had cauliflower. Cauliflower. You know, don't even get me started on the Yorkshire pudding. You know, all different kinds of chow. All right, those are lies. Lies, yeah, I admit, yeah. When we first got married 20-some odd years ago, we just lived in an apartment in the Detroit metropolitan area. You know, it's kind of dull and boring. You know, I'm a little self-conscious about my life being, you know, kind of uneventful, so I have to invent stories to make it seem more interesting. You know, in this case, stories about eating dogs. They say dog is man's best friend. You know, but I'm not so sure about that. I mean, if my best friend came over, pooped on the floor, peed on the carpet, threw up in my shoe, chewed up all my pens and left ink stains on the carpet, you know, I'm not so sure they'd be my best friend again. You don't expect your friend to just kind of pee on every mailbox as you go by. Some of the neighbors don't like that. We got a dog. He's a little terrier. You know, terriers are supposed to be really brave, feisty, independent, mind of their own. You know, and our dog is independent, which means he doesn't listen. And he's certainly not brave. He's afraid of the refrigerator. My dog's afraid of the refrigerator. I mean, I think it's silly to be afraid of the refrigerator. I mean, I'm not afraid of the refrigerator. Not in the daytime. You know, at night, it's that big looming thing. A little scary. Scary. I mean, not as scary as the oven. At night, the oven's really scary because it's got that mouth that opens. And, you know, and it eats up whole turkeys. And it's kind of interesting that man and dog have formed this bond. You know, because they say they're supposedly the animal that understands us the most. They say if you take a dog and you point at something, the dog will look at what you're pointing at. You take any other animal, you point at it, and that animal will look at your finger. You know, and that was kind of disturbing for me to hear because, you know, when people point, I always look at the finger. You know, and over the years, I've been kind of wondering, how come so many people are showing me the finger, especially when I'm driving? Now I understand they must be pointing at stuff. You know, usually I point with this finger, but to each their own, I guess. It's kind of interesting how we brought this animal into our home. There's a dog right there joining them for dinner. I mean, started out, you know, I think most of them started out as wolves somewhere back in time. Descended from wolves, which is a big, mean, man-eating kind of animal. You know, I imagine it's pretty scary to be chased down by a pack of wolves. It'd be worse than, you know, even being chased down by a pack of refrigerators. Of course, not as bad as a pack of stoves. Stoves are the worst, you know, because if a wolf kind of grabs you, sometimes you can escape that bite. But once a stove gets you and it slams that oven cleaner lever, you're toast. Oh no, that's if the toaster gets you. You know, so I don't go near the stove, especially when my wife's baking up one of her famous Afghan quiches. I'm not so sure I like the idea of these designer dogs nowadays, like the golden doodle or the caboodle, you know, Scooby Doodle, Scrappy Doodle, cockapoo. I don't know what those are. I don't know what the cockapoo is. Is that a dog breed or is that something it leaves behind in your carpet? Cockapoo. The only thing worse is if they bred 3 of those dogs together. Boy, that creates a mental picture that you just can't get out of your mind, doesn't it? What if they put 3 of those breeds together? It'd be even worse. It'd be the Kaka Shih Tzu Poo. 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 Yeah, I think that would be popular. I mean, it'd be just fun to say. What kind of dog is that? Kaka Shih Tzu Poo. They charge as much for those as they do for purebreds. You market it well, us Americans buy anything. Back when I was young, we used to call those mutts. Designer dog. That's a purebred mutt. That's what it is. It's a mutt. It's a mutt. It's a purebred mutt. It's a mutt with papers. Ours came with the New York Times. You know, used to get them for free at the dog shelter. And it was free. All you could eat. Kidding. So till next time, please keep all hands and paws inside the ride till it comes to a complete stop. Interesting story. I'm shooting this segment on the way home from my father's house. I filmed the rest of this video on the way to my father's house and randomly chose the subject of dogs to talk about. Took my father out to eat today at a restaurant and there was a dog in it. It's a dog right there joining him for dinner. Isn't that amazing? Coincidence or a higher power at work? You really think a higher power would have anything to do with this project? Coincidence. woof. You know, because like a Flatweiler sounds like Rottweiler. This is funny stuff.